You know, Christine's got her layers on because she's still in Washington State.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So today the question is, why do you want a relationship? I think this is going to be such a provocative question because I don't know that people always ask themselves this question, and to even think, what is a relationship? What's your personal definition of relationship? So Barry and I are going to cover that in total today.
Yes, we will.
We'd like to welcome you to the new streamingnetwork.com, WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcasts, #1 internet singles talk network. And this is Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Christine.
You guys in California are having a heat wave, and it's nippy in Washington State for sure.
I think we're entering Santa Ana season, it feels like.
Yeah, happy Halloween. I remember a few times having it be hot in my costume, but lots of times I remember having to wear a sweater in my costume since I'm a native Southern California gal.
Yeah. You know, I grew up in England, so I didn't have quite the same level of Halloween stuff you do in America. So, you know.
So I think a really good place to start is what is a relationship, and what different definitions I've heard when I've pinned people down, because sometimes people haven't even really thought about what is a relationship. Is it something that you want to just drop into, fall into, be in, or do people really think about it's something that you build on? Because that's really what it is. It's something that you develop, you know, something like a partnership. It's not something that just happens. It's something that you set out to have that evolves over time. I know that you and I are so on the same page about that, Barry.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, the other part I want to talk to as well is what it's like being single, and why being single is such an antithesis. That's the right word for people. You know, it's like someone being single is like the worst thing there was. Like, why do you see it that way? So we'll definitely cover both ends of the conversation.
So I looked up the definition, and it talks a lot about feeling connected with another person, to another person. How will it make your life feel better? So Barry and I've talked a lot, if you've listened to any of our podcasts, about first making your life feel whole. How do you make yourself feeling like you're having your best life on your own, with friends and activities, things that make you feel needed and important and productive and growing and learning, that you have a really good relationship with yourself first, and then your relationship with other people that you're giving back to, and that you have friends, and then with organizations like Barry and his church, and me and my volunteering, and whether or not you're doing it with people or animals or plants. So to think about relationship as something that you feel connected to, that you feel like there's a reciprocity, that you're giving and getting back. And it doesn't have to necessarily be with a person, but it could be, but it doesn't have to necessarily be romantic, that it's a way that there's a whole give and take, that there's a whole flowing, that there really is, both people are benefiting, both things are benefiting. That's how I think of a relationship, that there's some way that you're feeling connected, that both people or things are benefiting. They're both better from having been together, whether it's just you're together for the day or even for an hour, or you're better because you're now going to be connected for a lifetime. That to me feels like a relationship.
Yeah. And the thing is also, speaking to some examples, is that some people, and I'm going to say this so I'm going to scare some people, feel like their life doesn't start until they're in a relationship. And so what you were saying about having other things like places you volunteer or where it's like that is, and we talk about this in other episodes about being a better single person so that you can attract a better relationship. It's like, that's the challenge. A lot of people think, well, I'll do this, I'll do that when I'm in a relationship. And frankly, you might be waiting some time. So why not do those things now while you're single? Because as we said before in other episodes, you'll be more interesting if you do other things in your life besides waiting for that relationship. So the reason why you want a relationship is if you're waiting for your life to suddenly become exciting and starting because you're in a relationship, don't wait. Do it do what you need to do now to have a fulfilling, joyful life, and then a relationship can add to it, which I've said many, be transparent.
Yeah. So I think often, sometimes when you're reading a book, there's always the parenthesis where they've added a thought. So I think often what this title will feel like to people, because our podcast is about dating, that is it, why do you want a parenthesis romantic relationship? And what Barry and I are going to continue talking about is that, but also a relationship with yourself and other people, because it's really the place to start to get that, in parenthesis, romantic relationship.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
really the first step. It really is.
Yeah, well, like you like with your business being the perfect catch is like you become the perfect catch to then attract, and that's about being a better partner to attract a better partner. Same idea, because we're all about, as it's about, let's talk dating, is how do you date from a place of wholeness? So you meet somebody who's whole as well. The challenge with, if you're again looking for a relationship because you want to feel your life is suddenly full because you've got some person in your life, that really comes under the heading of codependency, which we talked about in other episodes as well. But it means the other person you attract has to be in the same boat as you. And if you want to be in a relationship, because part of the reason why you want a relationship is it's good to know what you want to get out of a relationship and put into a relationship as well. And if you're looking to have that relationship fill you up in some way, I would caution you to sit back a little bit and look differently and say, okay, what can I not do for myself? Because as we both talk about a lot with our clients, is you want to be a better partner in the first place. Not to say be in a relationship to be a better partner, but be a person who's a better catch for a relationship, a better partner for a relationship. And so, and I know we're going to keep hammering this point home, how can you be more fulfilled in who you are, independent of somebody else? Because then when you're in a relationship, that can be even more exciting because hopefully the other person does the same thing. And then the relationship is quadrupled even, or even more magnified, because you're both bringing so much more to the relationship.
So to think about, what are the things that you think are missing? What are the things that you think are lacking? Because yes, having been married twice, I was married and divorced, and really realized the things that I liked about being in partnership, that I liked about being married, even the first time, even though we were way too young and way not each other's people. I really liked the being married and coming home to the same person, having somebody watch my back, somebody to have ongoing conversations with. And I wanted those pieces again, even though I knew I needed to really grow up and be a better partner later and find a better partner for me, which I did, and learn to be even more of me to now marry the second time somebody much better for me and much better as a partner for that. And then got back those things and more. That was that kind of a relationship, the romantic part. And so I am the first person to say, yes, there are things that I can't have in my life without a romantic partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have lots of things in my life without a romantic partner. So, if I talk about those 10 love tanks that John Gray talks about, and the first 5 are things that have nothing to do with a romantic partner, and it's really important to fill those up before you get to the 6th one, which is the romantic partner. And it's in this wonderful book called How to Get What You Want and Want What You Have. It's a wonderful book, and that's in it, all about the love tanks, to think about how do you get yourself whole before you now look for the person to add to your life, because it really is an addition. It's not as Barry has said, it's not the beginning of you. It's not the pull you together person. It's really, you've filled yourself, because the other 4 tanks after that are giving back. You're so full that now you're full enough for this person. And now the 2 of you can now give back to the world and your community and to other people. So it's really important to think about how to fill yourself up and how to have a good relationship with yourself and how to figure out how to have reciprocity with other people before you say, I want to have a more committed, connected relationship romantically with another person.
Yeah. And the thing is, again, speaking to the reason for being single versus being in a relationship, some people, it's like if you put in a list like, okay, benefits of being in a relationship and benefits of being single, the benefits of being in a relationship so much higher than the other ones are being singles. They don't believe being single is a good thing. In fact, some people get into a relationship almost to avoid being single because they feel that they're going to be lonely or upset and not happy and not all the things they want. Which is why we talk about why it's good to do things for yourself so you feel whole and complete, so you don't feel like you're lonely. Because the challenge is, if you're looking to get in a relationship because you're lonely being single, I hate to break it to you, but the relationship isn't going to help you. Because the loneliness isn't in your interaction with other people, it's internal to you. And your partner won't fix that for you. So the reasons why you want to be in a relationship ideally are additive to what you're already doing and additive to your life. And ideally, like you're saying with the 10 tanks, you want to be able to contribute to the relationship versus just suck it dry, which some people tend to do.
Or to pick somebody that sucks you dry, because that would be really bad too. Because sometimes you're such a giving person, you want to find somebody that just, I want to just give to them. Well, then they'll be happy to just take. It's really fascinating, the people out in the world who, even the good intentioned people who don't have any boundaries. I've said, if they don't have boundaries, even if you have boundaries, they're not going to respect yours. And sometimes you just want to get in a relationship because you have all this love to give. Oh, I wear my heart on my sleeve and all I want to do is just give and give and give. Well, they're just going to be happy to stick a hose in you and take it all out. And they don't even mean it in a mean way, because there are people that are mean and will take, but even the nicest people that don't have boundaries are going to be happy to take all your time and money and energy. And then you're going to be like one of those inflatable things, and there's just all the air is going to go out. And then you're going to be wondering what happened, because this other person hasn't done their work and they're not capable of giving back. And you didn't have any means of learning, could they give back? And that really doesn't feel like what we're saying, the definition of a relationship. It's not the reciprocity. It's not the giving and receiving. And people say, well, I don't want to go into a relationship where I know I'm going to get back, because that feels selfish. So I'm going to say there's two definitions of selfish. One is, yes, just taken from other people without any regard for them. And the other is, make sure you're giving enough back to yourself on your own, that you have enough to keep giving back to the world. You need to make sure you have enough to give back. So taking care of yourself first so that you have oodles to give back. How lovely is that if that's your goal?
Oh, yes, you need a long list of oodles, for sure.
Oodles of oodles. The scientific term that oodles is, right?
Yeah. The thing also, and I'll say this one as well, it's happened quite a few with some recent clients, is the fear of being alone is also the fear of facing their own issues. Some people look at getting a relationship to avoid dealing with the pain of their last relationship. They almost use the next relationship as the ointment to heal the wounds from the past relationship, which doesn't work, by the way. So when you are single, yes, it can be painful to do, but if you're working with someone like one of us two, or somebody else who's a coach or an expert or a guide, to facilitate you back to healing, because if you had some major upset from a bad breakup, it may feel like the only way you're going to heal your wounds is to be loved by somebody else, which, again, doesn't work. Healing them yourself, especially when you are single, is the wisest approach, because you're not using somebody else as your replacement or distraction from what's really going on inside. So part of the reason why I say when you're single, you got to do the work is because you want to be a whole person. Yes, as I said earlier, about doing things in your life, being fulfilled and having a great time, but also you've healed any emotional baggage and wounds from past relationships, or anything else for that matter. So again, you're a much more whole, holistic person to be a good partner going forward. That's a choice you can make.
Oh, Barry, that's such an important conversation about lonely and desperate, whether you've recently broken up with somebody, recently lost a spouse to death, or you haven't dated in a long time and you just want somebody in your life. You just want them no matter what. That's often why people say they want to be in a relationship, and why they say, I don't want to date. I don't want to do dating. It seems so icky and awful. I just want to be in a relationship. They don't want to do the steps. And most of the time, I will tell you, I don't hear happy stories. I don't hear long lasting, loving relationships. No. I don't hear that it's worked out well. So when you say the reason you want to be in a relationship is because I don't want to be alone, I don't want to not have somebody, I don't want to think about that other person again. I just want to move past it. And the only way I can move past it is to skip all that stuff and just be with a new person. It's not going to work out that way. And I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were in a really hard place. And I said, I have a girlfriend that pointed it out once. It was a great visual. I said, you know where you are, and it always feels awful. You're between chairs. You were in this chair, and I promise you I can get you to this chair, but that between place hanging in the middle of the air, it's yucky. It's a really yucky place, and you can't skip it. I'm sorry, you can't skip it, but I promise I will sit there with you. I promise I will hang in that middle place with you, but nobody likes the middle place. And that's often why people but I just want somebody right now. Okay, you can want them, but let's not do that. Because it won't turn out well. Because you will eventually, they'll be gone and you'll be back in the same place. Let's just do it now. Well, but isn't that a great visual between chairs? Doesn't that just speak?
Well, I said, but not only are you back in the same place, but you have more stuff to work through because you didn't heal the last relationship. I mean, I've worked with clients before where basically it wasn't just the last breakup they have issues with. It's the 3 or 4 before that just didn't get cleaned up in the first place. And so, and the way that I described before with Barbara Angelis talks about this in a lecture I took years ago, just about how basically if you imagine that when you're in relationship, your love is like this wonderful like ocean of water. But when you have a heartbreak and upset and you get broken up with, it's like you put icebergs on top of the water and start covering it up. And if you don't heal the icebergs, you don't melt the icebergs, you don't do the healing work to transform it, you'll add more ice and more ice and more ice. Eventually, that open ocean of love is now covered up by ice. And so the amount of love that can get through is minimal. So unless you do the work to heal, which means is to melt the icebergs on top of the ocean, you will not so much able to be loved. You won't be able to love either because it's so restrictive. It's like trying to like push water through, sheet metal. There's nothing to get through. So how are you going to express yourself? So I know we're being pedantic and we're being pointed about this saying again and again, but the reality is when you're single, do the work so you can be a better partner, so you can have a better relationship. It is kind of that simple.
It's so simple. What I tell people is it's simple, but not easy.
True.
And we know what happened to the poor Titanic with icebergs, right?
Ice cubes.
Icebergs, yeah. Because it's true that we often, it was that. So now I'll do this. It's different. It's different. It was just that. It's different. And what you and I help people see is it's really the same. It's just the same. And when you're ready to look at it's the same, we can fix it and it'll stop doing this. We'll stop doing the same thing. Because I'm really clear, sadly, that people think they should just know how to fix this on their own. And nobody does. You and I have spent decades studying this. That's why I keep assuring people nobody just knows this. Barry and I have studied it for decades, and we're still learning new things. So please let yourself off the hook that you don't just know how to do this. So if you say, I really want a relationship, and you've never asked yourself why or why it's not happening or how to get there, Barry and I have studied why and how to get there, right?
Yes, and also we've done the healing along the way of our own relationship mistakes in the past. So we don't speak from theory, so from experience. So, yeah, sure.
We speak from life experience.
Absolutely, we do.
This is not theory here. This is life experience.
Yes, you're not hearing from a theorist by any means.
So if this has piqued your interest, we would be so happy to talk to you. And the way to get a hold of us before we take our commercial break is you could go to my website, which is www.theperfectcatch.com. Scroll to the middle of the screen. You'll see a questionnaire called What's Holding You Back from Love. Click on that. Answer 10 brief questions. It will take you to my online calendar, and you can schedule a complimentary conversation with me at your convenience, or you can send me an email at Christine@theperfectcatch.com. And Barry, please tell people how to reach you.
Sure. And again, we'll share with you at the end of the show all the other ways you can reach us. But before doing it to me, just go to my website, which is barryselby.com. And similar to Christine, I have a link on my website. In fact, at the top of the screen, which is Let's Chat. Click on that, my calendar. And also you give an application form you can fill out that basically takes you through, I think it's 12 or 13 questions, if you're counting questions. Basically gives you a chance to really write down what's going on for you, so I know when we meet what I can help you with and what's going on. And we can decide if we want to work together. And then if you want to send me a direct email, you can send one at barry@barryselby.com and tell you about all the other stuff I'm working on at the end of the show.
And we have two wonderful sponsors, the National Widowers Organization, as well as the new streaming network that produces this wonderful podcast. So you're going to get to hear from both of them. And then we'll be back with Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry.
See you in a moment.
The National Widowers Organization is a men's grief network. Our website serves as a virtual toolbox of free resources for men coping with the death of a loved one, whether a spouse, parent, a child, or lifelong friend. Our goal is to bring men together and arm them with as much information as possible to get through a devastating time in their lives. The NWO has a team of bereavement specialists and fellow widowers to help support you. You are not alone. For more info, go to nationalwidowers.org.
Thank you again to our wonderful sponsors. Can't do our show without you. This is Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. And today we're talking about why do you want a relationship? Because I imagine people that want to stay single and don't want a relationship are not watching us, right?
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, the thing about it is, and I should have posted about this this week or last week, about reasons to be single, reasons to be in a relationship. Because the reality is, for a lot of people nowadays, especially in the modern culture, being in a relationship is kind of a bonus thing versus a requirement thing. And that's, I mean, the way I live my life now is that I'm only looking to have somebody in my life who adds to what I'm already doing versus filling some sort of void I think I have or some limitation I think I have. So I'd like to think anybody watching this will get the same idea, because relationships should be something that are sacred and valuable enough that you really decide to do it for the right reasons, which is why we're talking about this now.
Yeah, the majority of the people I coach, I have a few people under 50, but most of them are over 50, and they absolutely are very clear it's an enhancement for their life right now.
Yeah.
Lots of the people I coach are widowed, and most of them have had lovely marriages, more than one. I've got a couple people that have been widowed more than once, and they liked being married and liked being in relationship, and not necessarily do they want to get married again, but they saw the benefit of being in partnership. They saw the benefit to their life, and they've created a nice life while not having a partner, and saw the benefit to them to being in the partnership. You know, they still have friends, they still have activities, they kept up some of the stuff that they did independently because they had spouses that had independent things, and they kept up some of the things they did with their spouse. And they've also said, gosh, I missed doing the things that we did together. And I do miss the person in the house with me. And especially people that were married for a really long time, having somebody in the house. I mean, just me and my cats. I really like I tell people, when I didn't have a cat in my house for a couple of weeks, the heartbeat in my house was different. So some people feel that way, a partnership with their animals.
Yep.
So to decide, what is the purpose? What is the reason? What does it do to enhance your life? That it can't be the hole in you. That's the piece that you're really looking for, because none of those people I just talked about feel like they have a hole in them, that this is a place that they want to fill, that makes them feel more. They don't feel empty. It just feels more. Right. There's more to their life because they bring another person into it. But I'll tell you, there's people that think they like doing the living apart together. They don't want to live in the same house all the time. That works for them just fine. There's people that have chosen to be single forever because they like being on their own and not having to report to anybody. There's a couple people I know that have very casual. They see each other in a very casual way, or they have really long distance where they have to make a big effort to get on planes. So one of the really cool things to be at this age, and often if you have discretionary income, you can pick all sorts of ways to have a relationship with somebody. So when you say, why do you want a relationship? And get really clear about what is your definition, because I was looking it up in Wikipedia, but what is yours? What would you write? This is what I would want if I had a relationship with a two-legged person, rather than a four-legged person. What would satisfy you? What is the benefit? What is the bonus that a person would bring to your life? And how would you structure it? And then what kind of a conversation would you have with somebody saying, would this work for you too?
Right.
Would you like to be my travel buddy, my theater buddy, my sexual buddy? I mean, really get clear about what you would like and go see if you can find somebody that wants to do that too.
That's the key, because as you said before about looking up what a relationship means, it is about connection, but it's so much more than that in terms of what qualifies a relationship. And if you're looking for something long-term, it's different from maybe something short-term. So what you're wanting in a relationship is such a key qualification about what it is you're looking for before you get into one. We've talked about it before in work, and my signature program online, which is for women, about attracting the man you want, starts with what is it you really want? And before that, start with what don't you want? Because the past relationships didn't work for you, so get clear what those are first, then you move forward what you do want. But the why that goes in front of which what this show is about, and this conversation is about, is what's motivating you. Why are you drawn to the idea of having a relationship? And is it reason for just, again, to replace something you missed, or try and do it better than you did last time, which is not always a good thing unless you get some help, or it's some other reason? But the truth is, relationships are amazing and wonderful places to be if you become amazing and wonderful to start with.
Yeah. And to really think, do you need more than one person? Do you want somebody that you would travel with, and the person that you live with doesn't want to travel, so then you would live with them and you travel with another person? I know people that do that. So to think about, do you need more than one kind of relationship? Do you need more than one kind of person in your life? So that's what Barry and I keep saying. Decide your why. What is your why? I mean, be really clear about it. And it's really a fun conversation to have with people, because lots of people haven't really asked themselves that question. I just want a person.
Yes.
Okay. What would that person be like? What would you like them to be? What would you like them to do or say or have or not have? I mean, really starting with the nots is very helpful sometimes, because people seem to know more about what they don't want. And it's a great place to start, because then you just turn it into what would you like instead.
Exactly.
But why would you want that? Because ask yourself that question, or let Barry and I ask you, because we aren't always really honest with ourselves, and people seem to be more honest with us, huh, Barry?
Yeah. Let's just say that we've had our own comes to Jesus conversations, to say the least, to really own that place, because we teach from experience, which is from what we learned, of course, but also we're in the trenches with you. When we work with our clients, it's not that we go from some high place that we're better than them. In fact, I've had people give me feedback about, how can you talk about relationships when you're single? It's like, because I've done the work to be a better person in myself, which is why I teach my clients that. And that's what we both do, is that we're so committed to our clients' well-being, to be happy, whole, healthy beings, that they become, frankly, magnetic to the relationship they want to have. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it isn't about, I want to have a relationship to fill up some gap inside them. Because the other part also, as you talk about, is how do you fill up your own batteries first? How do you fill up that place inside and become more joyful, more happy, more free, more loving, more relaxed, all these things, whilst you're still single? And yes, like saying about finding those other relationships out there to travel with, to do other things with. When you're single, it's a chance to really start exploring what lights you up in terms of life and joy and happiness and whole. It could be traveling, it could be hiking, it could be book reading, it could be cooking, it could be other things too. Go find groups to do that with, because then what you actually do is you start to take off the pressure of finding a partner to do things with, because you've got a community to do it with. So sometimes when you're looking for a relationship, what you really want is actually these other people to play with, community. Not necessarily now taking off the table. I'm talking about sex here, because we're talking about sex in other places. But a sexual relationship usually is for somebody who's monogamous, although there's other variations as well. We tend to focus on the monogamy side of things. But in terms of other hobbies, interests, things you want to do, find common ground with people that you want to do it with. There's so many clubs, like you do with meetups. There's so many ways of finding groups and people that do things that you want to do that have nothing to do with romantic relationship, but you build new friendship relationships. You build new peer relationships. So that's a place to start, if nothing else.
Yeah, and you make friends and you start learning new activities, and then you ask the people there what other activities they're part of, and you go join those activities, and you start learning other new things and making other new friends, and you never know, you might actually meet a romantic partner through that. I've had a number of clients that have met that way. And it just keeps making you a more full living human being. It makes you more interesting and interested. And it helps you start building friendship relationships and interest relationships where you find, oh, I didn't know about that, or I didn't know there were people that like that too. That's always my fun thing about, you like that same thing too. I didn't know there was people out there that like that same thing too. You like having that kind of a conversation. I didn't know. And I always wanted to have that conversation with somebody. It's really fun.
Oh yeah. The opportunities that you may come across when you're out there single, mingling and doing things that fill you up, you'd be amazed at what you might discover. Yeah. New hobbies, new interests, and yes, even new partnerships, because one of the things we talked about in other episodes and more than once about when you're having an active social life, doing great things in the world, when you're having fun, playing, doing things you love doing, you might meet somebody who is of interest to you because they have the same interests you do. And being in a relationship ideally is with somebody you like to play with and dance with and have fun with. So why not have a hobby you're really passionate about? Things when you go, and also when you go on a first date and say, what do? You can say, well, I do this, 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 and this. And they may say, oh, I do 2 of those, 3 of those things as well. Great, you've got a place to start from. So there's a lot of reasons why we say put energy in the bank for doing these things that you love doing, because you don't know how wonderful that will make your life to other people, and also how much more interesting you'll be to other people.
It's fun. I've been taking a poll of my male clients lately. I've been asking the men and the women different things. Just, it's okay if I ask you a question during our coaching. And so lately I've been asking the men a couple of the really important things to them about that they look for in women. They go, fun, that they want to have fun. And they don't even care often what that is, which I thought was really an interesting answer. That they know how to have fun, that they do something that they think is fun. And I'm happy to go with them, no matter what it is. I don't even know if I'm going to like it, but they think it's fun. I'll go try it. Mm-hmm. And they like to laugh about it. And I'm like, well, it's a really cool thing. I like that. See, and it made you smile when you heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that the men said that out loud.
It's because it's in a lot of ways for us, it's more about how we feel versus what it's got to be specifically. Plus the other thing is, to be honest, I think women are more spontaneous than men are, generally speaking. It's not. I don't have proof of that, like in the world. I'm not in a survey, but it feels like it's the case. Yeah. So the idea of having something that's spontaneous and fun and playful, to find a woman that brings that to the conversation, is like we don't necessarily do for ourselves. It's a bonus, so definitely something to enjoy.
Well, what I said, so how do you see that happening? They said, well, we'll go someplace and they'll go, look at that thing over there. And, you single focused or over here. And they're like, but they're scanning. They're like, there's a thing over there. Let's go do that. And they're like, oh, okay. Because we notice all the stuff that's going on around us, and you're like focused, but you're scanning for danger, but you didn't scan for fun. But we scanned for fun. Yeah, and they said they're really intrigued by that we do that. And then we'll go, okay, we'll go do that as long as we make sure it's safe. But then we'll go. I just thought that was such an interesting, it was such a surprise. That's why I never know what to expect. And I stay so open to you guys' answers.
Well, that's one reason why we benefit. We what's what I'm looking for? We add value to each other in a relationship, because that's the thing. We bring different skills, different talents, different innate gifts that we bring. So absolutely, that's one of those things that is definitely true, that we as men are always like scanning for danger, scanning for the next thing, keep an eye on what's out there, but we're not scanning for, let's go play. What sort of fun is it? So when we have a woman who does that, that's like heaven.
So isn't that a fun reason to add to why you would want a relationship, because of all the fun things we bring to each other that are different?
Absolutely.
People don't generally put that on their list. We could add that to the list though, right?
Yep.
Because of the fun differences, the good differences.
Yeah, we're seeing dating profiles coming up as well.
For sure. But that's so many Alison Armstrong stuff that you and I, we are such fans of hers.
Yes, we are indeed. Yes. Absolutely.
Well, I hope this has helped you think about how you people that are watching and listening to us about why do you want a relationship, and maybe you'll think about it differently, and you'd want to have a conversation with Barry and I about it, because we'd love for you to, if you really want a relationship, to help you get in one and look at it differently and approach it differently and work on yourself differently so that you would feel more capable. You would feel more energized about it. You would feel more able to get from here to there. Because I think lots of people just don't feel able, and they're feeling discouraged and frustrated. And we'd like to take that away, right, Barry?
Yeah, that's something we'd love to help you with.
Yeah. So we'll go back to telling you how you could reach us if you'd like to talk to us about all that. So again, go to my website, please. It's www.theperfectcatch.com. I'd love to talk to you about this. And the easiest way is to scroll to the middle of my website homepage and click on the What's Holding You Back from Love questionnaire. Fill out those 10 brief questions about where you are and where you'd like to be. And if it's in a relationship, tell me. And then it'll give you access to my online calendar, and you can make a complimentary conversation with me at your convenience. Also on my homepage, you can download my free dating book. It's an ebook link at the top. All I ask is tell me, was there anything that was helpful that you read? And I'm going to do a 2.0, so tell me what you'd like me to include in the next one. You can also join my mailing list. I'll send you this weekly podcast every week, and then I'll also tell you what's going on and coming up next in my life. You can also scroll to the bottom and click on all my social media little icon links that are Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest and YouTube, which is way over on the right. And you can see all the podcasts that Barry and I have done. We're getting close to 260. I can't believe it. We passed our 5-year anniversary that we've been together. I don't know what medal that is, but happy anniversary, Barry.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Basically, paper. No, I don't remember.
No, but whatever it is, it's fabulous.
Yes.
You can also send me an email at Christine@theperfectcatch.com and tell people how to get a hold of you, Barry.
Thank you. So similar to Christine, I have a website and a few other things as well. My site again is by name, barryselby.com. And on the homepage, you have 3 options. The first one I already mentioned, which is getting onto my calendar, and you fill out a form. We have a discovery session of what you are looking for, if I can help you with that or not. At the bottom of the homepage is an opt into my email list. We can do onto my email list. I send out replays of the show as well as other things I'm working on. And in the middle of the screen is the first of my 2 assessments or quizzes, for the sake of a better word. The first one is a relationship readiness assessment. Basically is, are you ready for a relationship? And it gives you questions to reconsider, if you're ready for one. So before you even know if you want one, are you even ready for one? So take the quiz. I have another quiz, which is not on my homepage, but you can go directly to it, which is barryselby.com/self-quiz, which you may guess from the title, is a self-assessment. Basically, how are you in relationship to yourself, which is a really deep question and a deep answer. So only the really committed people will take this quiz, because most of the people don't want to know about themselves, which is ridiculous. But anyway, I'm going to get a diatribe on that. But if you take the quiz, you'll get a downloadable PDF with that, which gives a lot more information and guidance as the next steps you can take. And both quizzes do invite you to have a discovery session with me as well. Additionally, on my site is my book, which is on the book page, which is 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. It's been out for 12, 13 years now. And for the first time ever, it's now a local bookstore, which is really wonderful. Yes, I was very happy about that. And a friend of mine who was in the bookstore bought it for me and had me sign it for her. So it was kind of a cool experience that I had yesterday. That was fun. So my book, on the book page, you can click on the link to go to get from Amazon. There's a little 13, 14 minute investigative journalistic review of my book. That's the word, review of my book. You can listen to these 2 wonderful AI voices that talk about my book in great detail before you even buy it, so you can get some ideas from that. I mentioned I have my signature program if you want to find out more about that. Also, my emotional sovereignty circle, which is launching next month, actually next week. So if you're interested in either one of those, just send me an email at barry@barryselby.com. I'll tell you more about those. And if you get the emails from me, the weekly emails, it's going to be listed in there as well, just in case you're already on my email list. But if you're not, do that so you get the information. And then social media, you can find me on under my name, Barry Selby, on Facebook, on YouTube, of course, because that's where all the videos go, and my other videos are up there, 1,500 videos and more. So YouTube, you can go to Barry Selby, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Blue Sky. I think that's all of those. And then if you want to find me on Instagram or Threads, it's the real Barry Selby. I think that's everything.
So we're here live every week at 1 o'clock Pacific and 4 o'clock Eastern and all the times in between. And then if you'd like to watch us on replay, you can watch us on Roku and YouTube. But if you'd like to take us with you as a podcast, how do people do that, Barry?
Yes, we actually have this. A wonderful show is on audio only. If you've seen our faces too much, you want to just listen to us, you can do it on the podcast. Or if you just you can't watch video and you want to listen, because when you're biking, driving, shopping, whatever you're doing, you can go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any other place and look for Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry and binge listen to all our shows. So do that.
And I've had people ask me a few times, and when they just start putting in Let's Talk Dating, we're the first one that pops up.
Ooh, how nice is that?
I'm very excited. And when you watch us or listen to us, please like us, leave a review, and share us with your friends or family that are having any questions or comments about or concerns about their dating or relationships. We would love to be known by more people too.
Absolutely. So we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.